Let me guess. You're laying in bed, sitting at your computer, or lounging on the couch, knowing in the back of your mind that you have work to do. But instead, you find yourself procrastinating by endlessly scrolling on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, Instagram. Basically, you're doing everything except the thing you told yourself you were gonna do today. The thing that will actually make a difference in your life. It's okay. This video will help you change that. For good. I recently learned a concept that has helped me immensely become more productive in my life, and I believe it'll make a big difference in yours as well. If you're anything like me, you've gone down this rabbit hole before. You've watched videos and read books on how to be productive. You've learned productivity methods like eat the frog, break big tasks into smaller bite-sized ones, and the 2-minute rule. Like me, you still probably find yourself tired as shit at the end of the day, feeling terrible because you got nothing done. Then you beat yourself up, wondering why you can't just stick to something. You can't just force yourself to build a good habit, even though you know that it'll make a huge difference in your life. Those methods don't work for me, and if you're still here, they probably don't work for you either. Here's what does work. Captivate, create, compete, and complete. The 4 C's. Having goals and desires, although nice, doesn't seem to motivate people like us to actually get things done. We have to feel interested in what we're doing, which leads me to the first C, captivate. I'm guessing you love trying new things. In fact, you probably pride yourself in it a little bit. So if you're telling yourself to do the same task, aka habit, over and over again, eventually, probably pretty quickly I might add, you'll get bored and you'll stop. Now, you'll try and push through the pain, of course, of still doing it, but it's no use. This is where captivate comes in. You have to find your ways to keep your tasks captivating. What you're doing has to be interesting to you. So how do you do that? Some ways that work for me are changing my environment and testing new ways to get tasks done. Constantly changing my environment by having at least 3 or 4 different places that I like to work has actually made a big difference for me. You've probably noticed that sometimes you work better in a coffee shop, especially being in a coffee shop where lots of other people are working. Being surrounded by other people that are doing the thing that you should be doing, working, will make a big difference. But you can't keep going to the same coffee shop and expect it to work every time. You'll start to get bored. I know it sounds like a pain in the ass, but try finding a new location to work every couple days. You don't have to go to a brand new place every single time, just a place that you haven't worked in a while. Keep your work environment new and exciting. Home can even be one of those places for you. For me, I find that I can work at home sometimes, as long as it's not every time. You can also test out new methods of working. Try new things, see what works best for you. Sometimes I'll write things down with a good old-fashioned pencil and paper, and other times I'll type things in Notion on my computer. Sometimes I listen to jazz when I work, other times lo-fi, other times nothing. Maybe I try working standing up, or laying on the floor. Or maybe there's some entirely new working method that I think might be more efficient, so I want to give it a try. Just switch things up. Don't let things get boring and mundane. Stay captivated. Which leads me to the second C, create. People like us are creative. Use that to your advantage. Try discovering a new method or pattern of doing things. Make a game out of studying and working. And use the third C, compete, to compete with yourself at that game. Trying to lose weight? See if you could run a mile faster than you did yesterday. Also, run a different route. Change your environment like we talked about. Learning a new language? Try creating a new mnemonic for a word you're trying to learn. A mnemonic's like a small story you come up with to help you remember. You can also compete by finding an actually good accountability partner, which means someone that's very supportive, but also really makes you work hard to try and keep up with them and surpass them. The last C is super important, complete. Small successes along the way will make a huge difference in your productivity. You might think you feel like shit because you're not getting enough done, but it's actually because you're not making any progress. Making progress will make you feel great about yourself. We often have a hard time just starting studying or working because subconsciously we feel like the action of the work is too daunting. The secret to overcoming this is to set such small goals that it's impossible not to get started. Trying to work out every day? Make your goal 5 push-ups a day, or 3 push-ups, or 1 push-up a day. Trying to eat healthier? Have 1 less soda in a day. or drink 1 cup of water a day. Now, I know making your goals insignificantly small seems like bad advice, but if everything I said has resonated with you somehow in some way up to this point so far, stick with me. Unlike other people, our problem with trying to stay disciplined is not how much desire we have to get that thing, like everyone says. It's usually just getting started in the first place. If you can get yourself started at all, you're likely to continue to move forward. It's not necessarily about getting the work done. It's about building a new habit. So a small goal that helps you get started will make a huge difference in you building a good habit. Whenever you have trouble starting, just tell yourself, I'll just do X instead of X, Y, and Z. And it'll only take like a minute. You've probably learned that you should have outcome-based goals instead of time-based goals. Outcome-based goals meaning you make your goal 10 push-ups instead of working out for 10 minutes. Making your goal the outcome rather than the time. For years, I was a huge proponent in believing that outcome-based goals were far superior than time-based goals, and that anyone that didn't use outcome-based goals just didn't know about them. The reason I believed outcome-based goals were superior was because if you made your goal to go to a gym for an hour a day, there's no guarantee that you'll get more fit. You might just run down the time by sitting in the jacuzzi or checking out the chicks in the yoga studio. But if you make your goal to go to the gym and do 30 sit-ups, 30 push-ups, and 30 pull-ups, there's zero chance that you'll get more fit. However, I've recently learned a way to utilize time-based goals pretty well. In fact, sometimes it's more superior than outcome-based goals. You've probably noticed about yourself that if you have no time left to do something, you somehow get it done in the last hour. Have a week to finish an essay? No problem. You'll do the whole thing in the last hour. Have 4 months to do your taxes? Not a problem. You'll turn it in on the very last day. The best way I've found to use time-based goals that has worked for me is the Pomodoro timer. Now, I know some people hate the Pomodoro timer, but I promise you, if you know how to use it correctly, you'll love them. If you don't know, a Pomodoro timer is a timer you set for 25 minutes. You work for the 25 minutes, and then you have a 5-minute break. And then the cycle repeats. You work another 25 minutes, 5-minute break, 25 minutes, 5-minute break. It's supposed to work really well for efficiency, and it does. The secret to using a Pomodoro timer is to get rid of the outcome in your mind. Get rid of the outcome-based goals. Get rid of the things you're trying to achieve. Forget all that and instead tell yourself, I'm just going to work as hard as I can for these 25 minutes. Whatever I get done gets done. Whatever I don't, doesn't. By making the goal of the Pomodoro timer to go as hard as I can for 25 minutes, it's a way for me to use one of the C's, compete with myself to see how much I could get done. Just go hard for 25 minutes. That is the goal. Personally, it's worked amazing for me. So what about outcome-based goals? Should you use those still? Yeah, like I said before, just switch things up. See what works best for whatever task you're trying to do. If the timer, the Pomodoro, doesn't make sense, don't do it. Use an outcome-based goal. By applying these methods, I've personally gone from sleeping till noon, being depressed, not getting anything done, feeling terrible at the end of the day because I just didn't do anything, to actually accomplishing a lot of the things I set out to do. But I haven't been fully honest with you. This is the twist. I have a secret to tell you that you're gonna wanna hear. If everything I've said up to this point sounds like it makes a lot of sense to you, and you really think that these are the things, maybe you've dabbled in them, that make the biggest difference, I have some quote bad news for you, depending on how you want to look at it. You more than likely have ADHD. I didn't want to say anything at the beginning because of the bad reputation it has, but in reality, it's like a superpower if you know how to work with it. If you can understand how to get the most out of your ADHD brain, you can become one of the most successful people in the world in your field. How do I know you probably have ADHD? Well, all the traits and methods I've been talking about in this video are specifically to help people with ADHD. After years of struggling and trying everything for myself to try and stay productive, I finally came across these tips for people with ADHD. I didn't want to believe that I had ADHD, but the traits and habits in these videos and the way people thought about things and stuff, it just all made sense to me. Everything clicked. Personally, like I said, I don't feel like it's a disadvantage because I feel like I've accomplished a lot so far and there's so much more I can accomplish. So it's never really held me back for anything. If you're interested in something, you could do it better than anyone else. You can become so hyper-focused that you just become obsessed and get everything done, leaving everyone else around you in the dust. So try and use it to your advantage. This isn't an official diagnosis or anything, but I highly recommend you research ADHD, figure out ways to get things done through ADHD. Maybe it'll resonate with you like it did me. But right now, please take action on this video. Don't just sit around and watch this video and then don't do anything. Take action right now. Stop procrastinating. What are you still doing here? Stop the video. Go do that thing you've been telling yourself you were gonna do.